Rescue efforts are underway for survivors of the 6.2 magnitude earthquake that struck Gansu, a northwestern province of China. However, cold temperatures that have gone down up to -13 degrees has made it difficult for authorities on top of the disruption in power supply. Good evening, I'm Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Premier Dahal expresses commitment on maximum action against anyone found guilty of illegal activities in Andel purchase and sale. Assures recommendations from investigation committee will be implemented. District Court Dang hands 1.5 years in prison to 3 women found guilty of honey trapping. Asked to provide 15,000 rupees each in fines. The death toll from earthquake in northwest China's Gansu reaches 126. 700 more reported injured, rescuers braving the cold for survivors. And Sporting Ilam concludes its debut season at the Nepal Super League with a 1-0 win over Lalitpur. Butwal Lumini taking on Pokhara Thunderers in second fixture. The State Affairs and Good Governance Committee of the Parliament has directed the government not to proceed with the handover of the shares of telecommunication service provider company Andel until investigation on the transaction of its shares conclude. The meeting of the State Affairs and Good Governance Committee of the Parliament held earlier today issued a directive not to proceed with the handover of Andel shares until investigation on its transaction concludes. The meeting has also directed the Nepal Rashtra Bank to submit details regarding the outflow amount recorded by Andel. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, who had also attended the meeting, said that a committee had been formed to probe into the possible irregularities on part of Andel. The Premier pledged to take stern actions against the concerned entities in Andel if found guilty. Prime Minister Dahal said that required measures will be taken concerning government monitoring, foreign investment and foreign exchange management, as well as tax, among other aspects, after the report is presented. He said that 80% of shares of Andel had been evaluated at a minimum rate and that the government came to know about the company evading tax through media. He also claimed that the probe committee was not formed to overshadow any other entity. The Premier said that the probe committee had been allocated a deadline of 1 month under the recommendation of the officials of Nepal Telecommunications Authority and that they would also give suggestions regarding ways to increase foreign investment and issues related to tax. During the meeting, Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Rekha Sharma, said that the concerned government entity has halted transactions concerning shares of Andel. During the meeting, lawmakers had raised questions regarding the probe committee and the involvement of Prime Minister's family in the case. General Secretary of CPNL Shankar Pokhrel said that those who had voted in favor of the name of Koshi province and later demanded basis of ethnic identity were the people who increased instability. Speaking during a press meet held in Biratnagar earlier today, UML Secretary General Pokhrel said that a Mid-Hilly Highway campaign was successful and that the party will now begin a campaign centering on the postal highway. He added that CPN-UML was committed to the name of Koshi province. Pokhrel blamed that during the campaign, the ethnic identity group condemned the party instead of welcoming them and putting forth their agendas. District Court Dang has sentenced 3 women guilty of honey trapping 1 year, 6 months in jail. Single bench of Judge Jagat Prasad Paudel has handed the verdict to guilty Sita Devi Thapa, Sushma Pariyar and Khuma Woli, with each required to pay 15,000 rupees in fine. Likewise, the 3 are required to pay 10,000 rupees each to the victims and Sita Devi Thapa is required to return 100,000 rupees taken from the victim. The 3 have been found guilty of calling a man from Khorahi to a hotel and threatening him. They had taken 100,000 rupees in cash and a check of 2.2 million rupees from the victim. The case was first filed at the District Court on September 2021. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question: what should be done to control cybercrime? The options are A. Users themselves should be aware, B. Monitoring and punishment, and C. Invest in technology. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The government has begun process to procure additional vaccines against the lumpy skin disease that had killed more than 65,000 cattle across the country within the last 2 years. Speaking during a program organized in Kathmandu earlier today, the Secretary of the Ministry for Agriculture and Livestock Development, Revati Raman Paudel, said that precautions have been adopted to prevent the spread of lumpy skin disease. Secretary Paudel added that tender has been called to procure 1.1 million vaccines against the disease and that the vaccination will be administered to cattle from the Nepali month of Fagun. The ministry further said that the government has already begun talks with foreign experts for production of the vaccine against a lumpy skin disease in Nepal. Production of milk has declined as more than 65,000 cattle have died within the past 2 years, while farmers have reported lack of oxen to plow fields. Due to this, the farmers had bear a loss of over 100 billion rupees. However, the government has yet to compensate them. The proposal for compensation forwarded by the Ministry for Agriculture and Livestock Development under the directive of the Prime Minister has also remained stranded at the Ministry for Finance. Dialysis services have started being provided for those with kidney-related ailments at the Udur Hospital. The dialysis service has begun from today by operating 5 machines following relentless effort by the hospital. The Chief Medical Officer of the hospital, Gyanendra Jha, said that prior to this, the patients were compelled to reach other districts for dialysis. The dialysis service has begun at an investment of more than 10 million rupees from the federal and the provincial government. The Japanese ambassador to Nepal, Kikuta Yutaka, said that Japan was ready to provide assistance for the development of Lumbini, which is considered the symbol of peace. The dialogue that was held between Yutaka and chairperson of Lumbini Development Trust, Eliarke Lama, following his visit to places in Lumbini that are of historical and archaeological significance, dwelt on Japan's contribution in increasing the number of Japanese tourists in Nepal and promotion of Lumbini. Lama said that the trust is willing to coordinate with Japan for the development of Lumbini. Time now for international update. The death toll from a 6.2 magnitude earthquake that struck Gansu, a northwestern province of China, has crossed 126. This has been reported as the deadliest earthquake in 13 years for China. Drone images on state broadcaster CCTV showed numerous houses in a village in Qinghai province half covered in brown slate as rescuers worked alongside excavators and bulldozers to find and rescue survivors. At 11:59 p.m. local time yesterday, the quake struck Jishishan County in Gangshu at a depth of 10 km, according to China Earthquake Network Center (CENC). Chinese President Xi Jinping has ordered thousands of rescue crew to the region. Authorities have swiftly mobilized an array of emergency responses after the quake wrecked roads and infrastructure. But rescue work has proved challenging in sub-zero temperatures, with most of China grappling with below freezing conditions after a powerful cold wave swept across the country. Local officials in Jishishan County say more than 5,000 buildings in the area have been damaged. Gangshu lies between the Tibetan and Loess plateaus and borders Mongolia. Power and water supplies have been disrupted, hindering rescue efforts. Xinjiang, another province west of Gangshu, also reported a 5.5 magnitude earthquake, but here were no immediate report of casualties. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin met with the King of Bahrain, Hamad bin Isa Al Khalif, as the Gaza conflict spread to the Red Sea, where Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi group has been attacking vessels with missiles and drones. That has prompted the creation of a multinational naval operation to protect commerce in the area, although the Houthis said they would carry on anyway until Israel ends the siege of the Gaza Strip and allow aid into the enclave. Announcing the naval operation, Lloyd Austin said in Bahrain, joint patrols would be held in the southern Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, which encompass a major global shipping route. The Houthi have waded into the Israel-Hamas conflict by attacking vessels in vital shipping lanes and even firing drones and missiles at Israel more than 1,000 miles from their seat of power in the Yemeni capital of Sana'a. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has said that North Korea will realize that provocations will only bring more pain to the country. Yoon was speaking at a cabinet meeting in Seoul a day after North Korea launched its newest intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. South Korea and Japan said that based on Monday's flight data, Pyongyang had fired an ICBM with the range to hit anywhere in the United States. Yoon, who has taken a hard line against Pyongyang since taking office last year, condemned North Korea's missile launches and stressed the closer alliance between the US and South Korea. The US and South Korea have increased the intensity of joint military drills against threats from the north, which has tested a range of ballistic missiles and in November launched its first military spy satellite. Today, South Korea's defense ministry has said it has activated a system with the United States and Japan to detect and assess North Korea's missile launches in real time. A huge bushfire burning out of control in the Pilliga State Forest 420 kilometers northwest of Sydney created its own thunderstorm, according to Australia's Rural Fire Service RFS. Footage released by the RFS showed the fire burning near the thunderstorm as air quality in Sydney and the Hunter region in New South Wales state plummeted. The smoke drifted hundreds of kilometers south from roughly 136,000 hectares, burning across the state's north, an area almost the size of Greater London, according to the RFS. Southerly winds should pick up in the evening and begin to clear the smog, they added. The RFS had termed the blaze with a status of out of control on their fire monitoring website. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for rainfall in several districts of the southern state, with the downpours expected to continue over the next few days. Drone footage showed severe flooding in India's Tamil Nadu following heavy rainfall that has pounded the region over several days. Vehicles were seen moving through inundated roads next to entirely flooded areas in Thoothukudi, with buildings and homes partially submerged in the floodwaters. Earlier this month, Cyclone Michaung had barreled into the nearby southern coast with intense winds. Its arrival preceded by torrential rains and flooding that killed at least 13 people. Germany and Georgia have signed an agreement which makes it easier for Georgians seeking asylum in Germany to be deported. German Interior Ministry Nancy Faeser said after signing ceremony with her Georgian counterpart in Tbilisi that Berlin planned to accelerate the processing of Georgians' asylum requests, most of which are turned down. The decision came after Germany declared Georgia a safe country, and Germany's acceptance rate for asylum requests from Georgia amounts to just 0.3%, according to Faeser. Footage shared on social media showed huge plumes of smoke rising out of a train in Bangladesh after protesters set it ablaze. 4 people, among them a mother and child, were killed after 3 compartments of the train were set on fire, authorities said. It was not immediately clear how many were aboard the train headed for the capital of Dhaka from the northern district of Netrakona, where passengers saw the flames a short distance from its destination, police said. The tragic incident was the latest to happen during a countrywide strike called by the opposition to press its demand for the government to resign ahead of next month's general elections. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.